Hello, everyone. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about how the devil is in the details. Now, this is already a concept that we've talked about a lot abstractly, and I just want to show you a few examples as you move into your observation project. So, when I'm talking about the devil is in the details, often in design, we work on communicating everything we can, usually in scale and an understanding of shape. So, we often think of this looking like finalized drafting, finalized pieces, something a little bit like this, where you have a finished color model, everything described, a ground plan for each thing, a drafted front view of each view, something that's particular. But that isn't all that we mean by design is in the details. So, what I mean by that is that design is the small moments, the small choices, and every little choice that we see and feel in an object that we encounter daily. The difference between a crisply made bed and a thrown together bed. It's every choice we see on stage that a person at one point made. So the overall impression of all of these choices together, it's what makes everyone think a certain thing. It's how something is created with intention. It's the vibe. It's just the kind of idea that something looks like. And those are made by tiny itty bitty little choices. It's how the world is lived in. It's how this room feels open and airy, but it also feels artificial. Who actually just arranges their living room that way? Um, the books on the shelves, where some of them are haphazard or leaning over, feel a little bit more realistic and lived in. But then you go in the opposite direction. How does this room happen? What time, what disaster, what things have passed that have left this room in such disarray? Each position that those books are moved to are specific. And what happened to this room, what happened to this place is something that tells a story. It feels not just like a disaster of a person was here, but an actual disaster, because you have falling in ceiling panels and you have a door falling out off of its hinges and you have water damage and stains from a broken window. These things don't just tell me this place is messy. This tells me that this room has been destroyed. So when you're looking at how this moves, it could be a kitchen, it could be whether or not this place has plants in it, whether or not this place is super clean, whether or not there are doors leading into other spaces, whether or not those doors, how many of those doors there are, or what color they are, and what color you see through those doors. Each one of these tiny choices changes a huge amount of the feel of this world. Also, what you kind of uh, receive or take in kind of abstractly are things like the center doors look inconsistent in color. There's this faded light at the bottom base of each one of these door frames. And this makes this feel weathered. These are all very clean, stark, and white, and they tell a story that is both homey rather than industrial, right? This feels very industrial. It feels like a hospital or a place that you go to work. But why does it feel like that? It's because this kind of floor doesn't exist in a home, but this kind of floor does. It's because this super small baseboard here is more reminiscent of a hospital or a hotel than it is of a person's home, where this baseboard is a little bit more reminiscent of home. All of these tiny little clues are things we don't necessarily know we're looking at, but we're all looking at them all the time and taking them in, and it's changing the way we see the world. And those are the things you're looking at for the observation project.